Okay, everybody, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or actually good evening, depending on when you are watching from. I am really, really thrilled and happy this morning because I have a very, very special guest. So I have Mary Callan on, and Mary is a very recent client of mine. She's just about to graduate from my 3-month program. And so we're going to have a bit of a conversation because Mary, hello, you've got such an amazing story and you're such a bright light and have had such extraordinary transformation that I just think it's, you're just like, I know you're excited about sharing this with everybody. So everybody who's watching, welcome to this live. I'm sorry if it's hi Darlene, hi Linda, if I don't get to your comments and if I don't get to your questions, because we're going to be really sort of focusing, or I'm going to be focusing and drinking in every word that Mary's going to be chatting about. But do feel free to leave comments and do feel free to leave questions, and then I can always go in and answer later. So I apologize if I'm not answering to you in real time. So without further ado, Mary, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Very excited to share my story. It's a good one.
That's great. And you know what? It's lovely. This is the first fellow Brit that I've had on. So this is a first and super duper exciting. So Mary, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you decided to do this, why you decided to do my 3-month program.
Right. Well, I am 55. I live in just outside of New York. I have 4 kids. I'm a yoga teacher. But I just kind of lost myself in life, and I found myself 40 pounds overweight, very, very overstressed, hugely depressed, and tried everything, every diet, I even tried mindset myself, but even though I knew quite a lot through my yoga work and I'm very interested in nutrition, I was not able to put all those pieces together to kind of get it as, get that jigsaw looking how it should. All my pieces were going in the wrong place. So I was really, really very depressed and very, very overwhelmed, not really knowing how to cope with life very well. And I was sitting on my bed going through the internet one Sunday afternoon, and I came across Sophie Juliano's website. And I thought, what have I got to lose? At this point, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Let me just book the call. And I sort of booked it thinking, whatever, okay, I'll just book. And then when we had the call, I felt a combination of things. I felt really excited. It was great that you were a Brit because I felt like, okay, fine, we're on the same page. We're we're the same age. We're from the same area in England, so that's good. But I was very nervous about spending the money on myself, of course. But I just, I was just at the point where I was desperate. I was absolutely desperate. And you were my lifeboat. and as soon as I signed up, when I got into the pre-module, I looked at this and I thought, oh my goodness, this is what I believe. This is how I want to live. The pre-course module. It was such a validation of things that I believed and thought, but again, was not able to put together. But I was nervous. I was nervous about the other ladies. Would they like me? I would look so awful and I was so overweight. I was all nervous about that. And after the first call, all that went away because they were just so lovely. And you are just so amazing. And I remember coming off the first call thinking, wow, she is real. She is real. This is going to work. And I just held on for dear life. I literally did. I just jumped in. I made it my priority. And it's so funny because even though I was really worried about spending the money, the fact that I did, that kept me accountable too, because it's like, okay, you're doing this now.
Yeah.
the other huge part, I mean, there's so many huge parts of this program, and they are all amazing, was the accountability, was the turning up to the coaching calls and getting coached and having the modules to go through and weighing in twice a day and having my no matter what, which are my foundations of life at this point. It all just started to click. It was fantastic.
Mary, everybody who's watching, I have to say that Mary I can't even tell you what the difference, it's such a transformation, Mary, that I see in you. And not just, Mary, how much weight have you lost to date? And you're not
I've lost 34 pounds.
Right. So you've lost
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's beautiful, and that's wonderful. But and as we often say, Mary, in the program, that's wonderful, and that's what you really wanted to do. That was part of what I heard when you first showed up and came onto that call with me. That was part of it, wasn't it? It was I am overweight. I am hopeless. You were in such a hole, in a way, of sort of despair, of just not knowing what to do. And what was really interesting for me, Mary, was that, like actually so many women in my community, and I think women of our age as well. I'm as you said, I think I'm a year older than you actually, but women of our age, we've not lived under a rock, unless we've lived under a rock. Most of us have. Right. We're quite up on nutrition. The internet keeps us very well informed. Yes. Many of us have tried a lot of different diets. And what was so interesting to me, and I think about halfway through the course, you said this, is you said, Sophie, I've lost, in fact, you said it on our call, you said, I've lost weight before, a considerable amount of weight before, but it just came back on again. And because there was nothing to underpin it. And so what was so interesting to me was that you had this information, you have a wealth of experience, you're a yoga teacher, you really have a good handle on nutrition, but still you were at a place in your life where you were like, nothing's working actually, right?
Totally. And I think that sort of made me feel even worse about myself, because it was like, come on, you know what to do. You can do this. You've done it before. And that was an interesting transformation, because all through my youth and in my 20s, and even after I had 4 kids, I was always slender. I was never really overweight, or if I did put a little bit of weight on, I could lose it like that. It really wasn't a big issue for me. And then as my kids got older, I think I lost myself. I really, really did. Life came at me and all sorts of things, and I got totally lost in the shuffle. Everybody, of course, everybody had needs, and I didn't get to mine. And I think my self-esteem also was really, really low, because I was basically unhappy. And then I guess it was about 8 years ago, I did lose a lot of weight. I lost, again, about 40 pounds. As you would say, I white knuckled it. I got to the point, I actually slipped on ice and catastrophically broke my ankle. So I had surgeries and all that sort of stuff. So I felt like, oh, okay, well, I've got to, because I can't walk on this thing anyway. And it was about a year's recovery. And everybody was sending me like chocolates and cheese. And I was thinking, golly, if I eat these, it's game over. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I did. I literally starved myself. I just, with hatred, So I got this poor ankle in pieces, and I'm hating everything about myself and my body, and refusing to feed myself. And I lost the weight, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Mary, you look amazing. You've lost so much weight." And on the inside, I was like, I'm so unhappy. And yes, I've lost all this weight, but all my problems are still there, and I'm so overwhelmed, and I don't know what. It sounds dreadful, doesn't it? It couldn't have been that. Anyway, it was actually quite bad. So all the weight came back on, every single last pound. And this time, it's just a game changer. It really, really is, because the difference here is, yes, I have fairly major issues going on in my life, as we all do, right? I mean, everybody does. But now I have tools to really, really cope with these issues and these problems. I have foundations in my life, these no matter what. They're my foundations. And I do these. I get up every morning at 6:15 and I give thanks, and I do my gratitude, and I do my journaling, and I, exercise, and I do all that because that's what I do. That's how I roll. That's who I am now. And when all the issues come, I'm in a place where I feel more solid to cope with them. So I have all those tools. I have my foundations. I don't feel like, oh my goodness, I feel so awful. I feel, oh my goodness, I feel so strong.
Oh, that's
whatever. And then the icing on the cake, as you say, is that I've lost all this weight. And the other major difference this time is that my body, mind, and spirit feels strong. But last time, nothing felt strong. But even my body felt so weak last time. This time, my body feels strong. And I watch what I eat, but I know the difference now. And this is just great. I know the difference between emotional hunger and real hunger. And the emotional eating, and when everything speeds up and you're like, oh, this is happening, I got to eat. I know that so well, and I'm like, no, we're just going to go outside and connect with God, or we're going to do this or that or the other. And that's a gift to know the difference and to be able to implement that difference. So when I am physically hungry, I say to myself, okay, let's nourish this lovely body now. Let's nourish it. What have we got? Have we got the smoothie? Have we got this beautiful salad? Have we got whatever we have? And it's like you're loving yourself now. Whereas before I was just like, just punishing myself more and more. So that it's just such a relief, and it's such a lovely way to live, even in the midst of all sorts of things that go on. It's a great comfort.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. You've said so many things that are so profound, Mary, and I think everybody probably can relate to that diet that you talked about that you did before, where you were hating yourself, you were punishing yourself. Yes. And there's nothing worse than going on a diet where all you're doing is trying to lose weight. You're punishing yourself, and as you said, deep down inside, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed internally. So you're still all the problems that you had before, you or anybody else, be it the feeling, no confidence, feeling burned out, upset, everything that many of us can feel when we've been putting ourselves last on the list for 20 years of our life. Right. That doesn't go away. And so punishing yourself with a diet is you're almost better off kind of not doing the diet. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful to see, Mary, that you clearly, I mean, everybody can see just looking at you because you're shining, you have this beautiful light about you, but you've learned to really, really love yourself and care for yourself and nourish yourself in actually a surprisingly short amount of time, and to really understand how your brain works and how your mind, how you work emotionally. And that's the piece that is so, I remember when you got that, I remember it was probably about 3 weeks in when you had, a couple of cravings and a couple of difficult things happened. And, you did some of the techniques that, and tools that I give to you. And you were like, oh my gosh, that's how you get through it. And that really truly is how we change our brain, because if we don't change our brain again, then it's just another diet program, which is doomed to fail over time, which is what I can't bear to sit around and see anybody going through. So that's beautiful. And, I love that you said that, now your body feels strong and feels alive, and that, so again, I think some diets can be just make you feel weak, or they're just not particularly great for your health. And so what I've seen you do is build this body that is day by day by day, that is getting stronger and leaner and feeling just feeling completely different. It's amazing, isn't it, how all the things work together, and your mood changes as well.
Yeah. And I think the mood thing is it surprised me as much as anything, because I used to not feel very confident at all. And now I have this extraordinary feeling of, it's almost like a sort of being solid in a way inside. It's a weird sort of, I'm not quite used to it, but I'm really enjoying it. And it's sort of, I wake up and I think of all the things that, it's got to get done, and all these things I'm trying to do. And I know how my mindset would have been previously. It would have been, oh my God, is that going to work? Oh, why am I doing this? It's not going to work. I shouldn't. And now it's like, of course it's going to work. It's going to be great. Of course it's going to be little hitches and glitches and things may take a little longer or whatever, but of course it's going to work. Of course, because that's why I'm here. That's what I do. And it's just the confidence, the feeling of confidence is such a beautiful thing, and I love it. And I just have to say that throughout this program, every Saturday morning, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get out of bed to start the next module, because each module is just so fantastic and so full of such interesting information. And it's almost like you tee it up, so you're just primus for exactly what's coming. And it's perfect, and it's brilliant, and it truly is a game changer, a life changer. It's a life changer.
And I have to, Mary, you have shown up all along this journey, and an absolute kudos to you. But you showed up, you jumped in at a time when you were so full of self-doubt and so full of it was a difficult time for you, and something caught you, and you jumped in, you committed, you did every little bit of the work. As you said, once you committed, once you invested in yourself, you were like, okay, I'm in this now, and I'm going to do it 100%. And the transformation has been extraordinary. And I think even more so because, like so many of the women in this program, and particularly you, because I've got to know you quite well, as I get to know, the women that I work with really well, is, as you said, your life isn't without difficulty.
Right.
Mary, for those of you who don't know, she has 4 kids, like not little kids, but kind of teenage kids, and everything that comes with that. And she lives a very, very busy life with all sorts of different things and complications and everything going on. Her life is no easier than anybody else's that I've ever met, and in many ways, way, way more difficult. And that's what blows me away. And that's really what I designed this program for, is that we can we make it work for us. You make it yours, you make it work in your life, and that whatever comes up, whatever difficulty is, because as you said, life is going to happen. It's going to continue happening. Look at what's going on around us. But despite that, Mary, you are sitting here with all of this going on right now and all the chaos in your life, and look at you. You're centered, you're strong, you're unstoppable. You've got things to be getting on with in your life. New things have opened up for you, which is super duper exciting. And truly, you're a light, and you always were a light. But I think, like so many women, that light just gets stamped out, and it gets chipped away by life, by other people, by family, by difficulties, by everything. And that's why I love working with women in kind of our age group, because this should be our time. We've given so much to our families, our children. And so now Mary, this really truly is your time now to shine and to be. I remember, Mary. I'll always remember this. Always. I think it was very early on in the program on one of the coaching calls when you talked about we do a lot of beliefs work. For those of you who don't know, we go into a lot of the sort of limiting and negative beliefs that we hold. But one of yours, Mary, if you don't mind me saying, was, that you'd always just were sort of almost okay accepting the crumbs of life, or almost sort of metaphorically what was sort of under the table, and that you would be okay with that. And I think what's absolutely extraordinary to see with you, Mary, in just 3 months is you're like, no. I mean, you say it. How has that changed now for you?
When I look back, and it is so how I felt, and I've felt like that for years. And now I look back and I was thinking, and I just look in horror and shock, and I think, no, this is not, no, I don't believe that anymore. I had some fairly deep-rooted, very negative beliefs of not good enough, don't deserve, etc. And, I do love to garden, and I just have this kind of vision in my mind of when you get hold of the biggest weed in your garden, right, that shot right up, and you just pull it out, and it's got this huge root on it, and you get rid of it. And those beliefs, those negative beliefs, those self-sabotaging beliefs, gone, thrown out, done. Not even in the compost, out.
Done. Not even letting them fester in the compost. No. It's like
gone. I mean, gone. Absolutely gone. And it's so interesting, because that was kind of like the main one, like, I don't deserve, I can just take the little bits, if nobody's looking, it'll be okay. And now I'm just like, well, no, just this is your time, just go and have fun and shine and do. And I don't have these doubts anymore. That's what's so extraordinary. And I think the mindset work that we do in Ignite, I mean, that is just so extraordinary. It's extraordinary. I mean, I've had therapy before. It didn't touch this. I mean, I've had quite a lot of therapy. And, you go in and you talk about whatever, and then you feel the same. You don't, this is the journaling, the I think, what it is, for me anyway, it was facing up to a lot of things. Because sometimes I think these negative beliefs, we thought them so long, for so many years, that we're almost kind of comfortable in our little rut and our little place of feeling not good enough, because we don't have to step out, and we don't have to shine, and we don't have, we're kind of safe there in a way. And I think in a way, it was kind of an excuse for me, slightly.
Yeah.
And when I got rid of those, oh my goodness, it was like, I felt so much better. And then I was ready. And when you have that confidence, you're then ready to step out. You're ready to do these things. And that, just getting rid of those, that one main one, and then, like any other root, there's little things coming off it. There's other little beliefs, and you're like, oh, let's think about that one. Let's journal about that one. That's ridiculous. That's coming out too. So, that has been, that's just been incredible. Incredible.
Well, Mary, I have to say that, the deep work that you've done, and that you've really, you've just, as I said before, Mary, you just went for it. You did everything in the modules. You have been on every single coaching call, and there's a sort of theme there that when somebody jumps in and does that, and to see now that really, you are who you were always supposed to be. You are who you're supposed to be now, and the biggest joy for me as your coach is to see that you now are no longer willing to settle for second best. You no longer put yourself last on the to-do list, on the laundry list, that you've learned to actually put yourself first, because you know in putting yourself first, you're going to be a better mother, a better everything, citizen, and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's the irony, isn't it? Because we think, oh, it's selfish, and we're so used to sort of, I've got to, give and be of service and put everybody else first. And that just can decimate us as women. And to see you tread this beautiful, beautiful line, this balance that you have now of putting yourself, your needs, your core needs, your nourishment, which isn't just the food that you put in your mouth, but it is the mind work that you're talking about. It's a spiritual work, and you do that 100%. And I'm very excited for everyone who's watching, because very often, when somebody comes in and does this program, I always, to me, it has to be transformational, way beyond just losing weight. It has to be. And the thing that I have so much joy in seeing, Mary, is what is going to unfold for each and every single person, and where they're going to go or change, or what they're going to find, because life suddenly really opens up, and everything and anything suddenly becomes possible, and then life becomes super duper exciting. So for you, a little bit of a shout out here. We've discovered that Mary is an absolutely incredible cook, and so taking all the which is, you would think that delicious, salivating and beautiful foods and flavors, and she's an incredible chef, wouldn't necessarily go with losing 34 pounds, which is what she today, but she is, and she's done, and she's figured it out. And so Mary's going into a whole new phase of her life, where she's going to be teaching us all how to actually make these beautiful, very, very, very healthy dishes. So what I wanted to say to everybody who's watching, stay tuned, because when Mary's very shortly to be up and running. So if you've loved meeting Mary, as I'm sure many of you have done, I've seen some of the comments and people are just going, oh, you're lovely, Mary. Stay tuned in my community, and then when that's up and running, I'll pop a link out so that you can all follow Mary and see what she's up to, and get to know her better, and some of the lovely classes that she's going to be doing. But Mary, you're an absolute joy. Thank you so much for coming on your crazy busy day. I know you've got all these things to be getting on with, and just sort of sharing, and everybody's saying, that they've really, really loved watching. Somebody, just looking at a couple of comments now, somebody said, what kind of exercise do we do? We do all sorts of different exercises, don't we, Mary? And the key is that aside from the actual exercises we do and the actual food we eat, it's not so much the what, it's the how. It's the how often. It's learning a structure and a discipline. But yeah, definitely exercise really features quite heavily in what we do. And I'm just seeing if I can see any other comments before we go. Oh, that's beautiful. And Janet, who's lovely, a member of the community, said, changing mindset to how I can honor and how I can take care of this beautiful body, which is what you said, Mary. You're just amazing. Yes, I think she's quoting you. So what an inspiration you are, my love. You are absolutely inspirational to all of us, and a joy to all of us. So thank you for being you. I could not be more happy that you decided to do this. And if anybody is interested, I think I've put it in the caption, you can always book a breakthrough call with me, or go to sophieuliano.com, and on the top link there is how to book a call, and see if this might or not be a good fit for you and I. But Mary, have a wonderful rest of your day. And yes, I'm just excited to see what unfolds for you over the next few years. I know you've talked about your experience, your strength. And do you want to finish with just a few last words of what your hope is going forward?
Well, my hope is, it's not even a hope now. I think it's a sort of unshakable belief now that I will live my life this way. This is going forward, absolutely living this way, because I would never go back, because I feel so good. I feel so amazing in so many ways. I really want well, I'm going to be working very hard on the cooking classes. A book is in the future. I would like to do workshops, etc., etc. The mind is just going a mile a minute. So many opportunities, and it's just really important to me to be able to create and give the world fabulous whole food plant-based recipes that really nourish the cells and nourish the body and make everybody feel good, because I just want to give what I feel. So I'd like to pay it forward.
Beautiful. And you're just expressing who you are. And I will finish with this, that I think that's very smart, that I said, what's your hope? And you said, it's not hope. You said, I don't hope, I know. And what more can I say? If that can be delivered, that you can walk out of this going, I know, then I've done my job. Yes. I love you so much, Mary. Thank you. And stay on, Mary, in the green room, so that we can just say goodbye to each other off air. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I'll catch you on my next live stream. Bye-bye, everybody.